Hello all, Jamie Rodgers here from Jamie Rodgers Crafts, and on today's how-to video I thought we'd have a little look at how we can stamp on MDF from our floral lace collection. I love our floral lace collection. It's probably one of my favourite releases we've brought you today, and one of the things I don't think everybody's aware of is how the coordination between products within the release actually not only does it give you the standalone ability and the colouring ability and the stamping ability and all of those other bits, they actually work together and create some great hacks to creating and making your life easier. So although that possibly sounds slightly confusing, I'm going to explain to you what I mean. So for this demo, we are going to play with our lovely MDF butterflies. Now in this set, you've received 9 MDF pieces. You've got 3 of 2 different designs of the smaller butterflies and then 3 of each of the larger butterflies. Now when we did this release, we also did a butterfly hanging mobile, MDF hanging mobile. This works in exactly the same way. I'll also show you more from the collection shortly because there are other shapes available as well. I'm also going to bring in the stencil set and the matching stamp set, and this is what I mean about coordination. So to begin with, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a stamp press and we're going to bring in the stencil. Now of course the stencil is brilliant for being able to go in and stamp your image and then mask off and colour your stamp with blending inks, misters, all of those different bits if you would like to. In with the stencil set, you also get the negative as well. So you might choose to stamp and then mask off with the butterfly cover and then spritz over the top of it or do some other techniques with them. You can also, of course, use these in your machine, as you would have seen in our previous how-to videos, to do letter pressing and embossing, which works really nicely too. But this is all about a hack to stamp on our MDF. So we're going to bring our stencil in and we're going to anchor it down with a couple of magnets, just like you normally would your cardstock. I'm then going to bring in a MDF butterfly, which I've already gone ahead and just give a coat of gesso, just so you can see it really. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it will give it a nice coat. I'm then going to place that down inside my stencil and it will literally fit within the stencil. So if I lift this up, we can even give it a bit of a tap. That's not moving nowhere because that is fitting perfectly inside that stencil. And this is what I mean about precision and working together between our different pieces. We can then bring in our stamp and we're going to bring the stamp in and we're going to line that up to where we wish for it to be over the top here of the MDF. So I think I'm probably in roughly the right place about there. But you know what? If I'm not, it's not the end of the world. We'll pick that up on top of the stamp press, just like you normally would, and we're going to bring in some ink. So I thought it'd be really nice to work with our Squirrel Red Quick Dry Pigment inks, because I really love it when we use the reds and the yellows together. So we're going to go over the top of your stamp, just like you normally would, and ink up. Now again, normally if you was to try and stamp on MDF, you're going to know that your stamp and your ink highly likely is going to stick to your MDF, and then when we open up the press, we're going to move the MDF. Because we're in a stencil, we don't have to worry about that. That stencil is going to keep that MDF perfectly in place. Now, even if the ink and the stamp do pick that MDF up, it's not the end of the world. Because normally you'd have no way of knowing, say, oh, brilliant, it's worked, it has come away, that's great. Because normally you'd be like, oh no, my MDF has moved, where do I place it back onto that panel? I've got no idea. Well, with this, we can take our MDF away, we can have a little look at that. That is perfect. I'm really happy with that. That is beautiful. We're spot on where we need to be, so it doesn't matter and we don't need to re-stamp it. But normally, you'd have no choice. With this, we can put that back into that press or into that stamp, into the stencil even, sorry, and we could then reapply pressure because we know that we're back exactly where we was before that first stamped impression. It also means that if you're batch making, like you're doing the MDF mobile and you've got 8 of these to do, or 7 or 6 or however many you're using, you can bring these in and you can put them in time after time, knowing that as long as you don't move this, you can reapply and reapply and reapply. So it's just a bit of a hack to make your life really easy when it comes to stamping on top of our floral lace MDF. Now, if you haven't seen this release and this collection previously, there are quite a few elements to this collection. So I shared with you the butterfly. You've obviously seen the butterfly stencil with the positives and the negatives. We then have our matching MDF butterfly set. And we also have the smaller ones too. And in the smaller set, you receive the 2 different designs, which of course will fit into that stencil and match up with these 2 smaller stamps. And there's 2 designs and you're going to get 20, so 10 each of each of those butterflies. We knew that you're more likely to go for the smaller ones, so I wanted to make it available for you to be able to purchase the smaller ones. Then you've got your mobile set as well. I've not bought one of those in to share with you today, but there is a giant mobile as well. We then have for you the hot air balloon set. So again, you've got your stencil set with the positives and the negatives. This one also does the banner as well, because on your stamp set, not only do you receive the hot air balloon, you also receive the banner with sentiments that fit inside there. You then have your hot air balloon MDF, which gives you 3 of the balloons and 3 of the banners. Now with this set, we felt you might like more banners, so we've also done a packet of banners that's available for you as well. And of course, your banners fit perfectly within the aperture on the stencil to hold them in place, and your balloon fits perfectly within the aperture on the stencil to stamp your balloons. And then lastly, our fiddliest part of this collection is of course our flowers. So in here you've got the positives and the negatives to each of the flower pieces. You then have your flower stamps, and then in this little box we have all of the MDF pieces, even down to our really fine twiddly bits. These are going to come in and fit perfectly within your stencil and line up, of course, perfectly with your stamps. So everything coordinates and works together to make stamping on the MDF elements absolutely easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now there are more elements to this collection, but this video isn't about introducing you to the collection. It's just a way of showing you how easy it is for you to stamp onto your MDF, because I've seen lots of people working with the MDF, lots of people working with the stencils and the stamps, but not so much coordination between them. And I really want you to see how simple that is, because once you know that that stencil's matching, when you know that the MDF goes inside the stencil and that you can stamp on top of it nice and easily, not even worry if it moves, that's a game changer. And I hope that this how-to video has really helped you find something new you can do with our floral lace collection. If you have any questions, please pop them in the comments and I'll do my very best to answer them for you. Thank you very much for watching today. Bye for now.